One fateful night, Blackie complained about chopping sugarcane and decided to escape. He convinced the priest to join him in an adventure. In the eerie silence of night, the duo was spooked back by a pale-faced man in the bushes just steps out. Embarrassing. The next morning, the overseer was on duty, but there was still no sign of Blackie. By lunchtime, everyone was wondering where he had vanished to. The priest stepped up to read the Bible, blending into the atmosphere as a government priest. The priest and the officiant pondered, since we're all made by the divine, why can't we live equally? That sparked a heated response from all the black folks present. The priestly alliance awkwardly replied, the Bible says black folks serve white. Jesus went to the Palins. The priest was flabbergasted that they could read, promptly scaring them into work. It wasn't too terrifying, though, at that moment. He felt like he was under heaven. The heavens watched as Blackie, targeted by the overseer for being 2 minutes late, couldn't take it anymore. Blackie seized dirt and thought, this is the taste of freedom. He then boldly escaped in front of the overseer. The overseer tried to block him, resorting to public whippings, but Blackie stood his ground, defiantly chanting, freedom, equality. Finally, the overseer submitted, thinking the guy fearless. Yet Blackie didn't stop and even plotted a medical revenge against the overseer. The farm owner thought Jis, who could read, smarter than other blacks. So he decided to have him oversee the other blacks, and seeing Jis' smug face made one think a pig could fly. The overseer appeared behind him, kindly reminding him not to get too cocky. Jis immediately lifted a bucket, splashing water on Blackie, taunting, put that down. That day, they were tasked to repair a bridge, and Blackie couldn't help but ask Jis, why not just try to escape? Don't act cool in front of me, Blackie warned. Jis quickly admitted he didn't know how to get back, so good behavior might ease the pain. Plus, flattering whites works wonders. Blackie suddenly realized, why hadn't he thought of it sooner? By the time the bridge was fixed, Jis smugly reported back to the farm owner, completely forgetting what his status was. As the farm owner listened, he explained, this black guy is really smart, he can even read and write. One white guy chimed in, joking, but can he play the piano? That one line sent the crowd into fits of laughter, everyone eager to see his embarrassment, but the next scene left them all in shock. There was Jis, wearing an arrogant expression as if he were incorrigibly vain, staring triumphantly at the whites in the room with eyes that clearly regarded them as if they were ignorant children. He seemed to forget that without white people's permission, they couldn't touch their pianos. Next day, the overseer realized both Jis and Blackie were missing and promptly brought in 2 slave catchers. The farm owner demanded they must bring back both men in one piece, or else no payment would be made. At that moment, the 2 brothers were hiding in a farmer's house, and upon learning the old man was Jewish, Blackie looked utterly disdainful. Just as he finished speaking, the 2 slave catchers and their hounds arrived, and the old Jew urged them to escape through the back door. So off they bolted, racing through the woods, eventually reaching the shore. In a pinch, they found a fishing boat and hopped on, escaping onto the sea while the pursuing slave catchers stomped in frustration. As they sailed further away, another massive slaving ship loomed nearby. The black brothers, unfortunately, were caught once again and sent to the auction block, at which point their relentless pursuers, the slave hunters, had also arrived and stood below, ready to witness the scene. After a brief commotion, the brothers were returned to the farm once more. During a break, Warren went off to scavenge for some food, whereas Fenku chose to stay behind and keep an eye on them. Suddenly, a scream pierced the air. It seemed Warren was in trouble. Fenku grew anxious, and the next moment, a group of light-skinned blacks emerged from the woods. They were escaped slaves. In order to effectively fight back against the oppression imposed by whites, the powerful black leader stepped forward and delivered a highly infectious speech that deeply stirred everyone into taking action against it. When they finally regained consciousness, the two stared in shock at their aunt, realizing she had transported them back to 1780, which floored them. The aunt explained that if they wanted to return to the future, they needed to find their ancestors, Xiao and Jolly, to correct the timeline, and smoking that pipe would send them home. Blackie immediately protested, pointing out that Xiao couldn't possibly be their ancestor since he was free. He pulled out the previously captured evidence for Jis to see, at which point Jis finally believed Blackie. So if that's the case, how did they come here? A light bulb went off for Blackie. Perhaps their aunt intended for them to correct this affair. Jis found his reason quite valid, and the brothers decided to help their ancestors propagate. But here comes the dilemma. What sort of excuse could they come up with to conceal their escape? Worry not. Negotiation is my area of expertise. The brothers managed to bluff their way through. That night, the farm owner threw a grand wedding for his daughter, and they seized the opportunity to borrow some of the farm's booze. Their plan was to get all the black folks drunk for their propagation plan, with novice Blackie tasked with the inspirational part. Meanwhile, Jis took it upon himself to get Xiao drunk, and before long, Xiao was smashed. Blackie almost went overboard himself, but Jis managed to pull him back just in time. They finally got both ancestors into the barn, and after a bit of manoeuvring, they accomplished the tough task. All they needed to do was spark the pipe and they could go home. But tragically, Blackie blew it out, thinking it was too easy a way back for the whites. He decided it was high time to give those who had bullied him a good lesson. Thus, the brothers marched in, chains heavy, machetes in hand, storming right into the White Widow. The spectacle left everyone frozen in place. In a fit of rage, Blackie boldly knocked over the white's wine goblets. He forcibly kissed the farm owner's daughter, then pulled in the white lady for a wild embrace. As he finished, he wiped his hands on her sultry dark lips, while Jis snatched a white shoe, forcing her to take a bite. After unleashing their wave of humiliation, the brothers casually lit the pipe, ready to bail. But try as they might to puff and puff, nothing happened. This was truly the end. They ended up locked away, and come morning, they would be hanged. As they faced their fates, the brothers dropped all pretense. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling and hilarious adventures.